Hi guys, welcome to the next voice therapy technique video demonstration, and this time we are going to talk about the very traditional exercise, that's the pushing pulling exercise. Though it's a controversial exercise, as many researchers have come up saying that these exercises are doing more harm than good because of the rationale on which it is based, and at the same time the effects that are happening because of these exercises. But yes, these exercises are equally in the literature suggesting that they are benefiting to the patient having hypofunction voice disorder. So we need to look at both sides of the story, and there have been multiple suggestions by many of you all to talk about this exercise. So this video is about the pushing pulling exercise. So let us begin by the population on which you use this exercise. You basically use this exercise for individuals who have hypofunction voice disorder. Hypofunction meaning the function of the vocal fold is reduced. It is majorly because of the damage to the laryngeal nerve supplying the vocal fold. The effect of this damage can be seen in two ways. One, the adducting function is affected. Two, the abducting function is affected. Now when we say the abducting function of the vocal fold is affected, then this therapy technique does not apply there, because right now the vocal folds are already in adducted position and we really need to create an airway for this patient. So these exercises, the pushing pulling exercise, are mainly for the individuals who have abduction problem. So the adduction problem, the vocal folds are just not coming to the midline because they are paralyzed or they have paresis and they are either in the paramedian position or they are somewhere between the paramedian and the midline position, having little movement in case of paresis. So the rationale on which this technique is based is the glottal effort closure reflex. Now this reflex states that whenever our body does something which is having effort involved of various muscles of the body, there is a reflex that causes glottal closure. Now when we are lifting something heavy, when we are pushing something heavy, when you are doing any heavy physical work, your vocal folds are bound to come together and close the airway. As a result, the airway shuts and the amount of air inside the lungs is preserved for this heavy work. This is the reason how you do pushing, that's with the hand or with the chair or something, and you achieve that closure. In case the person is having paralyzed vocal fold, this closure is not achieved normally. So what we are doing is we are making them purposely do it. We are making them put that effort so that the vocal folds try and come close. So that's the rationale behind this exercise. And the term pushing pulling exercise is basically because you are involving both the hands and you are doing multiple different types of movement involving the movement similar that mimics pushing and pulling. So let's just begin with the simplest of both, that's the pushing exercise. When I say pushing, what I want the patient to do is I need him to put both his palm together and then ask him to make it in the shape, in the form where the hands are parallel to the ground. So it shouldn't be something like this, it shouldn't be something like that, it has to be really in line. And then you have to ask the person to phonate without putting much pressure on the hand. Initially it has to be simple phonation, that's I am able to do it because my vocal folds are closing. In case you see a person who has hypofunction voice disorder, you will see there will be a lot of breathiness which would be coming and no phonation. So it would be something like, the moment you then say that now you put pressure on this part and then the voice somehow goes to that's a drastic change. You will see this in gradually. So something like you listen to the sound, it's a little bit of the sound that comes when you're putting a lot of strain on your vocal mechanism. So that is the reason it might do more harm to your vocal folds, because as you see the vocal folds lining is very sensitive, very delicate. When the person is trying to put this effort in that bargain, it is speculated that the vocal fold edges might be getting damaged, and that damage is something which will be more harmful than the positive part which is coming out of the therapy. But definitely it is still used. So it's one way of achieving a glottal closure. Second is the pulling technique, pulling wherein you ask the patient to interlock the fingers like this way, hand position same like the way you suggested for pushing, and now this time initially just holding it, trying to phonate, and then pull both the palms in opposite direction, and then that will cause a closure. Uh, this is how somehow the person who will be having laryngeal paralysis will be producing. During the later stages, you will see the condition to improve, something like without the pulling, you can achieve this much amount of improvement. Pushing is also possible and pulling is also possible when the person is sitting on a chair. You can ask the person to put pressure on the chair. So something like you take both your hands, put them on the chair, and then you phonate like I pressed my hands on the chair. You can also ask them to put them behind, like lower part, and then pull it. These are different ways how you are making the person do physical work, that is a physical muscle involvement, and thereby achieve a glottal closure. In that bargain, what you're trying to do is you're trying to bring about a compensatory movement of the vocal folds. Somewhere it is also suggested that the patient can be asked to pull a wall or something that's really heavy and big. So in that whole process, the patient will be able to produce a lot of glottal effort closure. So yes, this is all about pushing pulling exercise. Traditionally used, very well documented, but yes, it does have some controversies associated with it. So it's used with a word of precaution, but there are many speech language pathologists, even I know, who are still using these exercises and they have found to be useful. So yes, do check it out, this exercise, try it on yourself, then ask the patient to use it. If you have used this exercise, you have found it useful or not, share your experience in the comment section so we can definitely have a discussion about it. And stay tuned for more videos, and I hope today the audio was much clear. Thank you.